Hey guys, it's Chinyere here. So today I'm doing a story time video about another crazy client. Now the very first one I did was one I was talking about this girl who, she thought it was a relationship or that I was interested and that did not go well. So anyway, I will link that story down below. But this one is a totally different situation. So whenever I do story times, I'm pretty thorough. I like to get it all out. And they're a little bit long and detailed because I don't want people like jumping to conclusions, asking questions like what happened with this, what happened with that. At least it'll already be answered in the story time if you do have a question, just in case it takes long to get back to you. Okay, so I've been living in Austin for about, this September would make it 3 years now. When I first got there, I was hustling, blah, blah, blah. And for a living, I did hair. I don't really do hair that much for a living anymore. It's more just like more of like a hobby, extra income sometimes, you can never have enough. And of course, since then, social media has boomed and there have been different platforms for you to get your name out there and stuff. Since I wasn't really that serious about it, I would post my work on Style Seat, word of mouth, Craigslist, business cards, like all kinds of stuff. So, I don't remember really how she contacted me, but it may have been through a social media site or she saw someone. This particular weekend, my mom was coming down to visit me and I was extremely sick. Like, this is the sickest I had ever been in my entire life. I was so scared. Like, I was like, am I gonna die? But now in hindsight, I realized that it was just my allergies. I didn't know that I had allergies and I could even get them. I always thought that, I don't know. I guess we were just always taught like black people don't get allergies. Is that weird? I mean, that's just so weird, right? Like, people think we don't get sunburn, whatever, but yeah. That was the thing. Like, me and my classmates, we would always say stuff like we don't get allergies. So I just never thought, oh, I actually have them. One day, this girl, she text messages me and she's like, hey, I want my hair braided. Now, whenever you get your hair braided, a couple things that I ask you is like how you want it, what length, what size, and then when we talk about price, if it's too much out of your price range, we will figure something else out. So she had told me that she was a mixed girl, so whenever they tell me their hair texture, I know what kind of hair they need to get, what brand. I told her what brand to get. She had told me that the last person who did her hair, she didn't really like it. Now, typically, whenever somebody starts bad-mouthing a client, their hairdresser, that's either a bad sign or that's a good sign that at least they know what they want or that they just are very picky. I am in no way insecure about my body of work, so I wasn't really worried about it, but some people are just really picky. We talk everything through email and text message. She tells me that she wants this picture, so I'm like, okay, sure, yeah, we can do that. And so I told her the price and everything. She told me that the price is fine. A couple weeks later, it's time for the appointment and I fall extremely sick. I told her, I said, hey, y'all, I'm thinking that we may need to cancel this because I am so sick. I never ever cancel ever. And I told her that, and then she was like, no, I really want it done because my birthday's coming up and I need to go out of town and I just won't have any more time to do it. And me, I just moved there. I was like really trying to get myself together, so I don't like to miss any clients, especially when I'm broke. So I said, okay, fine, I'll take you. Now at this point, I was under the impression that she would be coming over to my house. But the day before, she's like, hey, can you come to my house? And I said, okay, sure. It's a fee for me to come over there. She said that's totally fine, whatever. Now, back then I wasn't really taking deposits. It was just like cash, or card when I get there, when I'm done, to your satisfactory. So me and my mom, we go over there, and y'all, I am so sick. Like, my sister actually had to come over to my house and she had brought me over some natural remedies and to take. So she had got me something like some drops to drink into my tea and stuff, and that was really helping, but it was very, very temporary. My nose was running, my eyes were itching, I had a sore throat, like I was very like I could barely even stand for too long because I just, so when I got there, but she tells me that she lives all the way out in Liberty, Texas, and I was like, ooh, okay, that's cool. I like driving out there. There's a huge lake. It's really country and beautiful out there, so I like going out there. We get there, and I was a little bit nervous because Okay, because I have been sick, I didn't really have time to really like plan things out. Typically, whenever I do someone's hair to give me their address, I GPS their location to make sure it's an actual house so I can see it on Google Maps and to make sure it's nothing like too scary and that I feel safe. So I did not do this. So when I pulled up there, I got a little bit nervous. She was living on like a piece of land, and it had a red trailer on it. And immediately I just got really nervous. I'm sorry. Number one, I had flashbacks because I had did someone's hair before who had a trailer and she did not have air conditioning, so we were really trying to like beat the time of it getting too hot in the day. So it was like early in the morning that I was doing her hair. Yeah, we pull up and I'm like, okay, I'm so glad to have my mom with me. I may have had to turn around if she didn't. And there's a white lady standing at the door and I'm like, hi, you know, I'm thinking like, hey, you know, where's your daughter, blah, blah. You guys already know what's coming. It was her. She's the one who wanted her hair done. There's nothing wrong with white people getting box braids. If they do, you know, typically they may need a little bit of spritz or a certain type of texture for their hair to grip it and to stay longer. And I'm like, hi. And she says, hey, it's me. Yeah, I'm the one. And I was like, me and my mom just looked at each other and I said, Mom, should I stay? Like, I was getting kind of nervous. I hate the stereotype, but we are in Texas and I was not trying to run into any like rednecks or nothing like that. And she's like, oh, okay, well just come on in. And so I said, okay, you know, we get out. My mom is like, hey! My mom is very vivacious, very crazy, whatever. Go inside and you know, it's just a trailer. It's nothing really special. You know, it's very rustic, as the people in East Austin hippies would say, or hipsters would say. It was very rustic. It had a lot of character. And you know, I get my stuff ready and she hands me the hair. I look at the hair and I'm like, okay, this is not the right hair that I told you to buy. Why did you buy this? And she said, I was just trying to keep the cost down, so I bought the 99-cent hair. The hair that I wanted her to buy was like $2 or it was $5 a pack for a whole lot more. I told her this. I had even sent her a picture of what to get and everything, and she had even told me that she had gotten her hair done before. So I said, okay, well, you bought this hair, but this isn't even going to be enough. So she said, that's okay, I can just have my boyfriend pick up some more hair. So I was like, okay, does he know what kind of hair to get? And she said, yeah, I'll tell him which one. And I said, okay, but do you mind getting another brand? Because this one is not going to dip well whenever I dip hair, you know, the hair in the hot water. If you guys don't know what that is, when you do box braids, you dip the hair in the hot water so that the ends will seal and not come apart, and they'll be sleek and nice looking. It gives it a really nice look. And so she was like, dipping in hot water for what? And I was like, so that your ends will seal. I'm not about, like, did she think that I was about to burn her ends? Burning people's ends was like back in the 90s. I'm not doing that anymore. Like, I don't do that. That, number one, it's painstaking. You have to keep doing that after every single braid. And the style that she wanted had a bunch of braids. And then on top of that, this hair was not going to burn. It was like some Toyokalon hair. It was not Kanakalon. So it was totally not going to burn. And I was like, nah. At this point, I was like, maybe I should get my bags together. Because I was coughing everything at this point. Like, really coughing and just, you know, sneezing, blowing my nose, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, she sits down. I look at her hair. Y'all, this girl has the straightest, silkiest hair in the world. Like, it was even more silky than some people. Like, it was so silky, so straight. And I was like, did you flat iron this before I came over? She said, no, this is just how it is. And I was like, no. Because on the phone, she told me that she had like a curly texture. And I was like, are you sure? She said, oh, well, you know what? I did straighten it a few days ago. And I was like, oh God. And it was so much of it. Like, she had a pretty large head. Her hair was thick. It was fine. It was just. So anyway, I look at my mom once again. I'm like, should we do this? Me and the girl, we talk about the price once again. And I told her, okay, well, it's going to be a little bit more because she also changed what kind of hairstyle she wanted. She wanted the girl on the actual pack of the bag instead of the email that she sent me. I had to switch that up. And it ended up costing a little bit more. I get started on the hair. Everything is going okay. You know, I'm braiding. My mom is finishing the braids. She's helping me kind of like brush it all out and everything. And everything is going okay. She starts telling me a little bit about herself. She's saying that she was like in foster care and that, I mean, just like, you know, personal things about herself and stuff. And I was like, okay, you know, she had a daughter. And then her boyfriend shows up, and he's a nice guy. He's a much older white man. Like, she's like maybe 39. He's like 52. He's much older. He comes in, he actually has the hair. And you know, he sits it down. So we all get to talking as we usually do. I talk a lot. It makes the hair go by faster. It makes the women not fall asleep, and it makes them not complain as much about the time limit, you know, the time that it actually takes to do things. So, you know, we're talking and everything, and this girl, as I'm doing her hair, like, you know, I'm doing a braid, blah, 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 she keeps putting her hand in the way. Putting her hand in the way. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, she's like, she keeps holding it. Now, you can hold the braid if it's hurting, but every time I would part it, she keeps putting her hand in the way. Like, she kept messing up the part. And I was like, what are you doing? She said it's a force of habit. I would literally part it, look away for a second, she already has her hand in the way, messing with the part. So I told her, okay, you're gonna have to stop that. And she said, no, sorry, it's just a force of habit. Go ahead and hit my hand if you want to. And I'm like, girl, I don't want to do that. Like, just keep your hands to yourself. Keep your hands to yourself. Then she's telling me more things about herself, and then the boyfriend, you know, he starts talking and whatnot, and then he decides to bring out his guitar. He starts playing the guitar. Now, she had been being just weird. She had been kind of having like an attitude, and it had actually gotten to the point where I was kind of like, okay, do you want me to come back another day, or do you want me to just not do this? Because she kept moving her hand, and then she was getting rude with me, being like, you know, she's like, stop parting it. Stop parting it that way. And I'm like, what? Like, she was just being rude. My friend starts playing the guitar, and he's singing a little bit. And then my mom, whenever she hears somebody play guitars, whenever she hears somebody singing, she immediately starts singing. She doesn't care where we are, in the grocery store, in the car, with friends, out to dinner. It does not matter. Hiking up a mountain, she will do it. And she has a really beautiful voice. It's really good. I'm not just saying that from my mom's point of view. If it's a family member, you guys know I'm pretty honest. Like, come on. It sounds amazing. So I didn't really mind it, but I was very frustrated. Like, at this point, we're into the 5th hour. And, you know, my mom is singing her songs with the guy who's playing the guitar. And he's just like, dun, 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 and my mom was like, ooh. And I'm just looking at them like, you know, just like the both of them. You know, it was bad enough that the girl was disrespecting me. I was extremely sick. And now you guys are singing and stuff. The girl starts to get kind of like jealous because my mom, who is 60-something years old, is singing with her 50-something-year-old boyfriend. And this girl is 39 and younger. So she starts getting jealous. And she doesn't obviously want somebody singing with her husband, I guess. And so she starts singing, and her singing sounds horrible. Like, she needs so much attention. She's like, oh, 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 oh. And then my mom is like, oh, 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 oh. And he's like, dun, dun, dun. Like, everybody is totally off beat. Picture all of that going on at one time. And so I'm just like looking at them like, see, this is what I wish I would have been like vlogging back then, because nobody would have believed me if I would have told y'all like how all this was happening. This is still going on. And then at this point, the girl, who my mom is totally oblivious that this girl is upset and that she's kind of jealous, the girl starts singing even louder, even faster, and in a different tune, trying to like imitate my mom, like, you know, trying to sound like her. So she's like, oh, and then my mom was like, oh, 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 oh. And she's like kind of like break it down at this point. And I'm like, you need to finish this braid. So then all of this is like still happening, and he's at this point kind of like looking at them, you know, trying to keep up. And it was just, it was so bad. It was so bad. So my mom is like, oh, I'm about to go in there for the killer. And she's like, and the girl is like, oh, and then he's like, ding, 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 ding. It's like everything is off beat. And so finally the girl's like, stop. Okay, I don't want to do this anymore. And we were all just looking at her like, okay, what's going on here? And she's just like, I don't want to sing anymore, okay? And so my mom immediately was quiet. He got quiet. You know, everything was just quiet. Me, happy. Even though it was awkward, I just wanted to get this over with. And whenever my mom starts singing, she kind of starts forgetting like where we are, why we're even here to even do this job. You know, she just starts forgetting all of that. So then, you know, we're pretty much at the finish line, kind of. We have about maybe like an hour left. You guys can only imagine how happy I was. You know, every 30 minutes I was blowing my nose like really hard because I was just trying to get all the snot out, but everybody knows that doesn't really work that well like that. And then I'm taking my drops, I'm washing my hands, you know, all that every 30 minutes. So really it was just taking much longer than I really wanted it to. The last stretch is always the hardest thing in anything. The girl starts becoming really irritable. After the song was done, she was like really upset. She started telling him that she's like, you know, whenever you go over to somebody's house and they get into an argument, they just start throwing out anything. She's like, you never play for me, but you're gonna play for her? And then he's like, what? It's not even like that. She's like, yes it is. And then he gets really quiet. And then she starts saying how, you know, she wishes that things were different, blah blah. And I'm just doing her hair and I'm just like, how does this always happen to me? And then, you know, they start arguing back and forth, and then he gets on the phone and he goes outside the door. I'm sitting there, still braiding. I'm not saying nothing to nobody. I'm still slapping her hand away because, you know, she keeps putting her hand in the way and stuff like that. And I'm like, stop doing that. And then she's like, well, this is just a habit that I have, and blah, blah, blah. She was just being really weird and really rude. So then she starts saying, you know, somebody killed my dad because he was dating a white lady who was my mom. And I'm like, okay girl. Says that her boyfriend is like stealing cars and taking them to different states, and that's why he had to hurry to get off the phone with us. And I was like, what? She said that he was like really hard on money and that he had a bunch of kids. Like just all kinds of stuff, y'all, was going on over there. And then out of nowhere, I kid you not. Now listen, this girl is white as a ghost. Like she's practically as white as this shirt. She's very pale, very pale. She pulls up her shorts a little bit, and in her inner thigh it looked like a galaxy. I kid you not. Like she had, I had not noticed that when I first walked in. That's the weirdest thing. When I first walked in, I didn't see nothing. When she opened her like inner thigh, she showed that she had a bunch of bruises in the inside of her legs, like all over her legs, bruises. Like it was pink, purple, black, like red, all of that. And I was like, what the hell is that? And then she was like, shh. And I was like, so you know, I'm like, okay, at this point it's like hammer time. I'm like, I'm really trying to get the hair done. My mom stopped for a second. I'm like, do it, do the hair. So she says he's been beating her and that he's the Antichrist. And she literally whispered it. She said, he's the Antichrist. He's the devil. I'm serious. And I was like, what? She said, and then she said, shh. And then she went like this. And he's still outside. So I'm like, girl, you don't just drop a ball like that and open a ball like that, you know, and not say what you were even talking about. And so she just got really quiet. She did not want to talk about it no more. We did not talk about it anymore. My mom kept like motioning to say more stuff. And then I was like, let's just get this over with. Then finally we finished the hair. It felt like forever. Finished the hair, and I tell her, okay, let's get ready to go. I need to trim your ends a little bit before we do the before we do the dip. Then I need to trim your hair ends again. She's gonna tell me that she wanted her ends burnt. Now y'all, this girl had a bunch of skinny braids as long as this. Like it was down to like her waist, skinny braids. She wanted me to go individually and burn each ends. Now of course that's gonna be extra, but on top of that, she did not buy the right hair. She sent her boyfriend to get the wrong hair too because she bought the wrong hair. So it wasn't even gonna burn. It was literally just gonna like disintegrate in the air. It was not gonna attach, nothing. It wasn't nothing to roll, nothing. I told her, I said, look, when we first got here, I told you that hair is not gonna burn. So what do you wanna do? Because that's just not gonna work for us. She says, you know, I wouldn't have gotten my hair done if I wasn't gonna get my ends burnt. And I told her I wouldn't have come over here if I would have known that you wanted your ends burnt and if I would have known that you were gonna get the wrong hair and this style. So she shuts up, and all of a sudden, you guys, my nose starts to bleed. You know when you have that nosebleed and you feel the blood coming down and it feels like warm but cold? Like I'm doing hair and I feel like a warm but cold thing coming down my face. And I was just like, what the hell? And I looked at my mom and she was like, ooh, your nose is bleeding, go in there. And I was like, oh God. I go in there and guys, like my entire face, like around here was just, my entire mouth was red. All around it was just red. And so I went in the bathroom and I told my mom, please dip her hair for her. And then I go in the bathroom, he gives me a towel, and you know, I'm holding my head back, I'm pinching my nose and everything. I had obviously blown my nose way too much because I was trying to not blow it as much while I was there. And that was just it. I had like overdone it and something burst or whatever. So while I'm in there, I hear my mom and the girl kind of struggling. The girl is scared that my mom is gonna like hurt her, that she's trying to put her head in the water so that she can burn her. And my mom was like, no, this is just a process, and if you just work with me, you know, it'll get done. I'm still holding my head like this, you know, like this, and I'm like, excuse me, girl, can you get this done? I said, we need to go. She's not gonna hurt you. You know, I had let go of my nose for just 1 minute because I was gonna go help my mom, and as soon as I put my head down just for like a split second, it just came coming down. So I had to go sit down and actually like hold my head back like this while I did the hair and everything. So anyway, I go in there, help them, and we finish it up, and we're finally leaving. I'm so happy, and she's gonna tell me as we're leaving, because this girl, she had invited me to come over. Like during the conversation, she was like, I make the best macaroni and cheese, you should seriously come over. She gave me my money and she gave me like a little tip, which was very nice, because it's so weird that she gave me such a good tip when she was being so overtly cheap. And so she says, I hope this doesn't ruin anything for us going, you know, for you coming over to eat mac and cheese. And I just looked at her, I didn't say nothing, and we drove back home. The whole kicker in this story is that after I left, you know, I didn't hear from her. Then out of the blue, someone texted me to do their hair. Guess who it was? It was her. And this is how the text message goes. This was about 4 months ago. She says, hey, can someone do my hair? And so when she texted me, I didn't really know who she was, and I said, hey, sure, I can do it, blah, blah. Then she starts kind of giving me a couple details that she told me when I first met her. She says, I'm a special needs teacher. I just want my hair done. You know, something like that. And then she gave me the exact same spiel that she gave me about someone else, only she was texting me and she didn't know that she was talking about me this time. She's gonna go and tell me, oh, you know, the last girl who did my braids, which was me, messed up on them. I wanted my ends burnt and she didn't burn them, and I wanted blah 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 and she didn't do this and that, and she told me, and then she got the wrong hair. That is exactly what she told me about the last girl. Creepy, very creepy. So I said, you know what, you can send me a text message of what you want done. And after that, I did not hear back from her. So yeah, that was my story, guy. My long story about my creepy ass client was not even like it. I've had multiples, lots of weird people come through, but for the most part, I've had a great time doing hair, and the people that I've met have been absolutely wonderful. So yeah, that was my story. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's free, and if you're new, don't forget to hit the notification button so that you can get my videos whenever I post them. Anyway, I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.